Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's event. It's wonderful that you're all joining us for our event focused on management and digital training. Boost your business through Help to Grow. I'm Anne Franca, the Chief Executive of the Chartered Management Institute, CMI. I'll be your host for today. And before we start, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to today's speakers and panelists. The Minister for Business, Energy and Corporate Responsibility, Lord Callanan. The Minister for Small Business, Consumers and Labour Markets, Paul Scully MP. The Chief Executive of UK Hospitality, Kate Nichols OBE. And the Help to Grow Programme Directors at Strathclyde University and the University of West of England, Dr. John Anderson and Dr. Dan Knox. Whilst he's not able to join us in person, I'm also delighted to confirm that the Business Secretary, the Right Honourable Kwasi Kwarteng MP, has provided a short video message for us today, which we'll hear shortly. Now, throughout this afternoon, we're going to hear more about the Help to Grow management and Help to Grow digital schemes. You'll have the opportunity to ask questions to a panel of business schools offering the course and speak with several course participants who will share how the course is inspiring them to really develop their businesses and take them to the next level. CMI is absolutely delighted to have been involved in this bold scheme, which the government has pioneered with the ambition to reach 30,000 SMEs across all corners of the UK and across all sectors. As the leading chartered professional body for managers and leaders, we've shared our knowledge and expertise to help develop the Help to Grow management course. I'm delighted and proud to be on the advisory council, and of course, my team are delighted to welcome all of you as free CMI members in the Help to Grow management for all participants during the program and for 6 months post-completion. The launch of initiatives like Help to Grow Management and Help to Grow Digital demonstrates the critical role that small businesses play in delivering the economic recovery for the UK post-pandemic and beyond. Small and medium-sized businesses account for 99% of UK businesses, 3/5 of employment, and around half the turnover in the UK private sector. But of course, as an individual business leader, we know that your most precious commodity is your time. And even if you might recognize that your management or digital skills could do with a refresh, finding the right course and making the time for it is not always easy. That's why the Help to Grow program is just the ticket. It's led by UK government experts, advised by a council of leading experts, and it aims to simplify the situation for you by providing a course that's designed from the ground up just to fulfill your needs about what you need to do to adopt the practices and learn the techniques to grow your business. And of course, the fact that it's 90% subsidized doesn't hurt. Now, let me give you just 3 good reasons why you should sign up today. The first, we know that management and leadership is the #1 driver of better results in organizations. It's going to help you to attract and retain new talent. It's going to boost your results and make you a better business in terms of what you do and how you do it. And it's going to increase your staff loyalty, motivation, and engagement. So that's a huge reason in itself. It's going to help you to build your business better. The second point is strong management practices often go hand in hand with the adoption of new technologies that in turn allow your business to be more efficient, to save costs, and to drive up innovation. And last but not least, that third good reason, investing in your management capability is actually your best insurance against shocks in the future, such as this pandemic. Evidence from the ONS tells us that better managed businesses are more robust, have greater resilience, and have navigated the pandemic much better. But now, to kick off our conversation today, I'm delighted to introduce Lord Callanan, Minister for Business, Energy and Corporate Responsibility, who's going to give us a brief overview of the Help to Grow schemes, and particularly the newly launched digital platform. Welcome, Lord Callanan. Over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much indeed, and for the opportunity to be part of such an important event for our small businesses. It is a great pleasure for me to be able to speak directly to so many business leaders here today. And as the minister responsible for the new Help to Grow digital program, I really do appreciate the efforts of everyone in the CMI for helping us to develop these schemes and the work that you are all doing to improve people's management and leadership skills. Because we all know that small and medium-sized businesses played a critical role in the UK during the pandemic, and they will have an even more vital part to play in the future growth and prosperity of the UK economy too. I know also that after 2 years of uncertainty, many businesses are itching for the space and the opportunity to develop their skills and their business rather than just focusing on the day-to-day. So the two Help to Grow schemes that we have are aimed at supporting small and medium-sized businesses to invest in their management skills and their digital tools, two areas that we know have a practical impact on both productivity and business success. Through Help to Grow Digital, which launched last week, the government will help up to 100,000 businesses to boost their productivity and hopefully their profits with financial discounts for software that is proven to get results. And Help to Grow Management provides the intensive management skills to support up to 30,000 SMEs. So I want to talk to you today about both in turn. So starting with Help to Grow Digital. I was delighted last week to launch the Help to Grow Digital platform, which is our flagship scheme to support businesses' access to digital technology. Through this scheme, your business will be able to access free and impartial online support around how to use digital technology to really boost your business performance. Eligible businesses can also get discounts of up to 50%, worth up to £5,000 of purchasing costs of digital technology solutions that are proven to boost productivity. And whilst London's Silicon Roundabout, Cambridge's Silicon Fen are quite rightly very well known, that we know that for our small businesses to reach their full potential, digital skills are needed all the way across the entire country. So this program is really a linchpin in our efforts to level up businesses. UK businesses underwent 3 years worth of innovation in just 3 months during the pandemic by accelerating their adoption of tech. Help to Grow Digital will build on that momentum as we recover. So we keep talking about productivity, but what does that actually mean in real life to you? To me, it means getting more value out of the same resources, working smarter, not harder, if you like. Finding new software that gives you hours of your working week back or helps you to serve more clients in the same amount of time. And research suggests that boosting SMEs' productivity to match that of, say, German firms could add a staggering £100 billion to our economy, that of which I'm sure everybody is in favour of. And that's what Help to Grow Digital is all about. So whilst I'm responsible for the digital program, I'd like to also take this opportunity to outline the huge benefits of our Help to Grow management scheme. That's the responsibility of one of my ministerial colleagues, Paul Scully, who you will hopefully also hear from later. Help to Grow Management is a leadership and management program that's designed to equip small and medium businesses with the skills that they need to boost performance and growth. Designed to be manageable alongside full-time work, this 12-week course is delivered by the UK's leading business schools. This world-class program is 90% funded by government, and it provides a practical curriculum with one-to-one support from a business mentor, from peer learning sessions, and from an alumni network. Through the scheme, businesses are supported to develop a tailored growth plan which will lead their company to its full potential. I'm delighted to say that so far, over 3,000 businesses have already signed up to the program since it launched in July. Research indicates that technology adopted with better management practices also in place can deliver a 20% increase in productivity. So our Help to Grow schemes really do go hand in hand. But don't just take it from me. The testimony from people who've already enrolled on the management course speaks for itself. Rosie, who's the head of finance at an energy company, described the course as thought-provoking and detailed, which gave her time to work as well as improving her skills. Jeff, who's a managing director at a construction company, said that the course offers incredible value for money and an opportunity that doesn't come along every day. So, in his words, grab it while you can. So myself and my colleagues are continuing to look forward to working with CMI, with your partner institutions and your regional boards as we continue to focus on the rollout of the Help to Grow schemes. So finally, I would urge all the businesses attending today to visit the campaign page, sign up for Help to Grow Management, and sign up for Help to Grow Digital. This is a great opportunity for small and medium-sized businesses to build on their new ways of working, and I strongly encourage you all to spread the word to your networks and to your local communities. So once again, thank you for your time today. Thanks for listening to me. And I think we're now going to show a short video, after which we'll have a question and answer session. So back to you, Anne.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Lord Callanan. And now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce the Secretary of State for Business, the Right Honourable MP Kwasi Kwarteng, to give us his welcome, after which we'll have a Q&A with Lord Callanan.
Our new Help to Grow Digital scheme is the key in our efforts to back British business. In 2022, we now have access to technology that can improve firms' efficiency and productivity, boost profits, and help unlock new investment opportunities, and, most importantly, allow them to grow. Adopting new software could help UK business owners take their company to the next level, allowing them to work smarter, not harder. Through Help to Grow Digital, businesses can get advice on what digital tech will boost their performance, and they can also receive financial support of up to £5,000 to invest in it. They will save time, they will save money, and they will have more space to pursue innovative ideas to grow their business. This won't just be great for individual companies. It will bring jobs and wealth to local communities and allow businesses to compete on a global stage. UK businesses have just undergone 3 years worth of innovation in just 3 months during the pandemic by accelerating their adoption of tech. Help to Grow Digital will build on that momentum as we recover. As well as helping improve the digital skills of up to 100,000 businesses, we're giving 30,000 SME leaders access to world-class leadership and management training through our Help to Grow management program. I'm delighted to say that over 2,500 small business owners have already signed up to the scheme. After the challenges of the last 2 years, small firms may be wondering whether now is the right time to mix things up. But I know that many businesses recognize that they have a great opportunity to grow as they recover from the pandemic. They want to work on their business and they want to drive profits rather than just keeping up with the day-to-day challenges. I want to encourage business owners watching today to get on gov.uk and sign up for Help to Grow Digital Management, or both. Whether you're an accountant in Argyll, a beautician in Bury, or a ceramics manufacturer in Coventry, Help to Grow can help your business reach its full potential.
Well, thank you so much for those words from the Secretary of State. And now back to you, Lord Callanan, if I may, just a couple of questions. And by the way, if you have a question, please put it in the chat. Not only for Lord Callanan, but our panelists will take those throughout the afternoon. But first question, can eligible businesses access both schemes? And if so, what are the strengths in your view of combining the two schemes for a small business?
Well, the short answer to your question, Anne, is yes, they can. The Help to Grow scheme support UK small, medium-sized businesses to scale and to grow as they recover from the pandemic. So the Help to Grow management provides, as I said, intensive management skills support to up to 30,000 SMEs, while Help to Grow Digital supports businesses with online advice and up to 100,000 SMEs with considerable financial discounts on improved software. So yes, SMEs that participate in either scheme will be able to apply for the other Help to Grow scheme at the same time. And obviously you can choose one or the other if that's what benefits you.
Great. Well, we've heard about Help to Grow Digital and driving, what, three years of innovation in 3 months? But what other advantages will business leaders gain by participating in that Help to Grow Digital program?
Well, we all know that the UK has a long-standing productivity challenge at firm level, and evidence shows that increasing technology adoption in small and medium-sized businesses can really help to address this issue and narrow the gap with the UK's international competitors. And I referred to Germany in my remarks. For micro-sized firms, the adoption of customer relationship management software, for example, is associated with productivity gains of something like 18%. The right digital technology can take your business to the next level and boost performance. We all know the benefits of digital technology. It can help to organize your business activities more efficiently, like, for instance, automatically generating invoices, helping to track spend. It could improve your ability to reach new customers through data collection that helps you understand their wants and their needs. And it helps you to work smarter and more flexibly by using automation to reduce the time spent on boring administration and storing information in one central, accessible location.
Well, that sounds great. Less time spent on boring admin and more time spent doing the interesting things. But still, what would you say to the small business leader who says, I just don't think I need those digital skills, and moreover, I just don't have the time? What would you say to that person?
Well, I can understand the skepticism of some people, but evidence shows that adopting digital software to support customers, to manage accounts, and to sell online could really save your business time and money. And it's critical for SMEs that are trying to survive and to grow as we recover from the pandemic. So we want to take this opportunity to help small and medium-sized businesses to adopt new technologies that are proven to improve business processes and to boost competitiveness. The support will help many SMEs to build on their existing digital tools that maybe they've already started using during the pandemic, and provide them with the tools that will help them to be more digital, more efficient, and help them to grow.
So that sounds like, an offer you can't refuse. You get the free access to the software, the platform, the support. I can't think of any reason why a small business wouldn't want to join that program and benefit from all of those advancements and enhancements you've shared with us. So thank you so much for that. And I'm sure people are signing up now. And remind us again to sign up and find out more. Where do they go? www.gov.uk and look for Help to Grow Digital. Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us, Lord Callanan, and do sign up. It sounds like a brilliant program. But now we're going to turn our attention to the other half of this amazing government program for SMEs, the Help to Grow Management Program. And joining me today to discuss that, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Minister Paul Scully MP, the Minister for London and Minister for Small Business, Consumers and Labour Markets. Welcome, Minister. Dr. John Anderson, the Head of SME Growth and Board Development, Strathclyde Business School, responsible for the Help to Grow program. Dr. Dan Knox, Associate Professor of Knowledge Exchange and the Help to Grow Management Program Director at the University of the West of England, and Kate Nichols, OBE, the CEO of UK Hospitality. Welcome to all of you, and thank you for joining us for this important discussion. Minister Scully, if I could start with you perhaps, why has the government picked out management as a key issue to address for small and medium-sized business leaders? And what value do you see the program as delivering to those leaders?
Thanks, Anne. It has a massive role to play for businesses of all sizes, not just micro, but going up to 249 employees, the sort of more medium end of businesses. Because what it does, it allows you to take a little bit of time off your business to work for your business, to plan for your business, that breathing space to actually look, as Martin Callanan said, how to introduce structured management techniques and come up with your bespoke growth program. That's what it means for you as a business. But obviously for us as a government, it's really vital that as we recover from the pandemic, we work together to build back better and support UK businesses to thrive and grow. And we want to make sure that we can then give the UK businesses the support and the skills that they need, not only just to bounce back, but to drive that innovation, to drive that growth and the job creation that we need to move towards a secure and prosperous future. And we're committed to make sure that every region across the UK has access to that productivity boosting business training, as well as obviously the software and the digitalization that you're talking about with Martin in Help to Grow Digital, to make sure that we can help firms compete on the world stage. It's designed, the management program is designed to be manageable alongside full-time work. It is a 12-week course, but it's time, as I say, that you minimum amount of time away from your business, but with like-minded people, like-minded peer networks, and obviously mentors that can tailor programs around you.
Well, that sounds great. Now, Kate, it's been a really tough year for hospitality, actually a tough pandemic for hospitality. And so training opportunities may not be top of mind. Do you see Help to Grow as an opportunity for the industry? And if so, why?
Yes, I'm delighted to be able to join you here today. Yes, it has been a torrid 2 years, I think, for the hospitality sector. But actually, training is very much front and center of what we do. Hospitality is a people business first and foremost. Half of all of our spend is on people. And therefore, as we come out of the COVID crisis and as we look forward to growth, training has actually been at the front of mind of many of those small business owners, because they know that they need to be able to work hard to recruit new people. We've got a 10% labour shortage in the hospitality sector. We've got acute problems with labour shortages, not skills shortages, but labour shortages. And therefore, they are looking at this kind of targeted skills boot camp, if you like, to be.
Oh, oops, I think we lost Kate. I'm sure she will join us again, but she was just saying that training's top of mind. There are labor shortages. So obviously businesses that take advantage of this probably are going to gain competitive advantage. But let me ask, while we wait for Kate, she's back. Kate, you were just sharing how businesses were coming out and prioritizing training.
Yes, I'm so sorry. You would have thought that London would have better broadband, but there we go. These challenges of working from home from time to time. Yeah, we have come out with acute labour shortages, and therefore this is really important. Help to Grow is a key component of our recovery, and we've put it as part of our skills strategy that the Hospitality Sector Council, newly formed under Minister Scully, has to the fore, because we know that where we need to retain staff, and we need to retain the talent that we've got as we start to grow and recover, leadership skills, management skills, and digital skills are key areas that we need to focus on, particularly the first two. Hospitality people tend to come into the sector because they're passionate about hospitality. And then, as in so many sectors of the economy, we don't train people necessarily to manage and to grow and to lead. So actually doing that in a very focused skills bootcamp way gives you the opportunity to recover as quickly as we can. And the peer-to-peer support that goes alongside it when you've got a sector that is 70% SME, hugely important. And that's where the value really comes from.
So I couldn't agree more. It's a people business. Learning how to manage and lead other people is essential if you're going to attract and retain and develop your talent. So thank you for that. Now, Dan Knox, in your opinion, you're running Help to Grow at University of West of England. What are the strengths of the design and curriculum of the Help to Grow management course? And how is it practical for business leaders, busy business leaders?
I mean, for me, fundamentally, one of the most important aspects here is the collaborative nature of the program in terms of how it was put together in response to industry needs, in response to the needs of business leaders, but also the working together, the coming together of lots of different business schools from across the UK. So we've now got more than 30 business schools delivering what is in effect a standardized program. Obviously there's local flavouring and there's a variety of personnel delivering it in each location, but you've got a shared curriculum there that's based upon our experience of working with SMEs, our experience of growing businesses across the higher education sector in general. If we look at the 12 weeks across the program, one of the key strengths there is the diversity of material. There are lots of ideas that people can potentially apply to their business. Now, it's not necessarily the case that all of them need to be applied to all businesses, but it's an opportunity to think, and to think perhaps outside your own predetermined or predefined boundaries by coming together with your peers, with others facing similar challenges, but also with the experts in the business schools, also with the experts among the network of mentors as well. And I think that absolutely fundamental to it is that peer interaction, that ability to speak on a week-by-week basis with others who have identified themselves as being in the same sort of position, facing the same challenges and opportunities. In terms of the practicalities, 12 weeks is a relatively condensed period of time, but the structure of it on a week-by-week basis is, I think, very well designed in the sense that there are weekly checkpoints. There are things to do each week that progress your development towards creating the ultimate plan for growth of your business. So you will have an expert speaker-led session, and you will close the week out with a peer group discussion or a meeting with your mentor. And there are, exercises, thought-based exercises to undertake each week. So there's a pattern, and you become immersed in that pattern. There's a momentum to the program itself over those 12 weeks. And of course, as we see increasing numbers complete the program, that will be continued in the alumni program as that develops and gets rolled out nationally.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things when we were talking earlier, and I know Dr. John Anderson will come on to this, but I wanted to ask you as well, is talking about the diversity of the businesses on the program. Maybe you could speak a little bit about that, because some people might be saying, oh, I'm sure it's all one certain type of business. It might not be for me, and I might not be able to learn. Maybe you can speak to that.
I mean, to date at the University of West of England, it's been incredibly diverse. We've had more than 100 businesses join the program with us, and those have varied from engineering firms through to beauticians, wedding dress retailers, almost anything that you can think of. There's no particular pattern at present, I wouldn't say, but that diversity really is part of the strength of the program. It's bringing together different ways of thinking about the same ideas in those peer group calls and in the face-to-face sessions as well. So I wouldn't pick out any particular pattern at this point. It really is for everyone. The issues, the challenges, the opportunities are universal across sectors.
That's great. Thank you. So John Anderson, head of Strathclyde Business School, Help to Grow. What kind of opportunities have you seen so far in your experience of the program, and what, if any, challenges have you seen?
Thanks, Anne. And just to echo Dan's comment about the amazing variety of businesses. And that's what I've been doing for 25 years. Personally, I've been doing peer learning for 25 years. And I know that an effective cohort of peer learning plus exec ed works brilliantly. So the interesting thing in Scotland is that this was the first opportunity to bring a new program into what is already a pretty well-established economic development ecosystem. I hadn't had the upheaval of many of the systems in the rest of the UK. But the consequence of an established an ecosystem environment, if you like, is where does Help to Go fit? Because I've been in Strathclyde and the Hunter Centre for Entrepreneurship in particular has been part of that ecosystem for 25 years, we're just using relationships to say, this is a complementary program that sits alongside, our Scale Up Institute endorsed Growth Advantage program, programs that are run at a regional level. Where this, though, is we need to be super clear on positioning that we are working with small business charter schools who have a track record of working with SMEs. We understand the SME, we understand the pressures they're under, and we've created and crafted programs that can help them. It shouldn't be afraid. Remember, this is education, it's not training. This is not a training course. And one of the challenges I think we face UK-wide is that there's been an awful lot of subsidized training programs, many free to the end user. And I think the structure, frankly, of the material that Dan and I had the privilege of working on to design it is working brilliantly. I think it is accessible. The work, there's a series of workbooks, the practical things that you need to do. People do come in a bit intimidated, perhaps. Business school, there's going to be lots of books to read. I think the way it's been designed means it's very accessible. And that's allowed me in Scotland in particular to get it slotted into this ecosystem of support. It's the first stage in engaging with a top business school. We have Stirling University, we have Heriot Watt and Robert Gordon alongside Strathclyde delivering in Scotland. So we've got a great regional spread. We will continue to work with local authorities. Economic development is quite devolved in many parts, but also through chambers of commerce at a local basis, Institute of Directors at a branch level. I chair Glasgow and West of Scotland. We've now we're promoting Help to Grow through the membership network, obviously from a membership organisation, thinking that there's benefit in carrying on your lifelong learning on this one. Joining up the ecosystem is vital. Great messaging around it, which is, coming centrally, it's just outstanding. We've had a great demand.
Well, that's great to hear. And I know earlier you were saying that businesses learn that even if they have very different sectors, they can still really face common challenges and learn from each other. And you've seen that in action, haven't you? Yeah,
there's something, because I've been around this is one of the benefits of having been around for a while. I often, particularly during the last 2 years, I've spent my purpose is helping businesses grow, has been for 25 years. When someone says, "Oh, I don't have time," I get concerned. I really get concerned. I don't have time. Particularly, I find this in early stage technology businesses that they just think that getting the technology is right. Go and talk to a customer. So one of the things, a simple question is, who do you turn to? Who do you ask? You can't talk to your business, your management team, if you're concerned, if you're the leader. Can you talk to your spouse? You probably aren't organized, perhaps, to have a board. So who do you talk to? There is nothing more powerful than talking to someone who's facing precisely the same issues as you. Then you put it into an environment of structured learning. So peer learning, you could join Vistage, there's a whole bunch of mechanisms. What I think Help to Grow and other programs where it's business school-led structured learning, it puts that rigor and the accountability. It's not accountability to the academic team, the delivery team. It becomes accountability to each other. So it's very difficult to describe when you see it working and you measure the impacts of these businesses. And I know that will come out in the data eventually. This is a very powerful model, and all credit to the government for helping us to help businesses.
Great. Well, that's great feedback there. But coming back to you, Minister Scully, what feedback have you had from SMEs as to their reasons for signing up for Help to Grow? And how is the government going to continue to get the message out and encourage take-up?
We've had really positive feedback from businesses that have gone through the process. Actually, they valued the time to take a step back, to look, to have, as John said, that opportunity to spend time with their peers. I always talk about mentorship, and I think this is borne out with this. When you talk about a mentor, it's not just having Richard Branson at the end of the phone. It's having someone that's just a bit further down the track than you are, or that can just see things in a slightly different way. And so the feedback that we've had from people that have not just signed up but gone through the course is that they really value that bespoke approach. But I ran businesses for 25 years. I ran small businesses, from kitchen tables, from my office, from client's house, from a more traditional office, and I just know what it's like, as we've heard, that you can just get involved so much on the day to day. You don't lift your head up and strategize, and that's what I think people who have signed up for it and have looked into it are really keen to do. What more can they do to take their business to the next level? It's not an academic program. It's led through business schools, mainly through in the universities, but it's not an academic sort of textbook operation. It's how can you actually get involved in those conversations that really enable you to think about your own business, have that bespoke plan at the end of it to really put boosters under your own business and ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kate, what would your recommendation be for those hospitality businesses, maybe just emerging from the pandemic? How should they best take advantage of the Help to Grow management program?
Well, I think I can do no better than to just echo what Lord Callanan said earlier, which is seize the opportunity with both hands. Somebody's giving you something free, which will be, or largely free, hugely beneficial to the business and to the key personnel within it. You might not have the need to do it as a business owner, but there will be key people in your business who are going to be critical to recovery. And I think there's something that the Minister and I have talked about before. Hospitality, because it's largely made up with part-time workers, they are very small businesses that when they get to this threshold, but actually this is the way to accelerate their growth through that pain barrier, because you get to about 250 workers in hospitality when you've got 3 or 4 sites. And actually that growth period where you go from 3 or 4 to 15 to 20 is the real pinch point. If we can get more of those businesses with boosters underneath them, as the Minister has just said, get them through that pain barrier, plan that next few steps, we will have a really strong platform for growth for the economy as a whole, not just for hospitality, because there's no UK economic recovery without a hospitality recovery. So if we can turbocharge these businesses by giving them that strategy, helping them through those steps, putting them in touch with people to support them through that period, then we will have really unlocked the potential of levelling up in our town centres, our high streets, getting lots of young people into employment and getting investment back in the UK economy.
Absolutely. And I love your statistic about, they have to open 3 or 4 branches. We'll also have loads of lovely new places to eat and drink for everybody throughout the UK.
I want to get them from 3 to 15. That's where the real opportunities lie for the UK economy. That's where this program can really add value. You've got great numbers of entrepreneurs who stay as single site independents. We need to get them into growth mode, and this is the way to do it.
Absolutely. Well, Dan Knox, we're talking about growth. Help to Grow features a bespoke growth plan. In fact, that's the output at the end of the program. What's been your feedback from participants thus far about how they found that process of that growth plan, and have you seen any early results?
I mean, the process of developing the growth plan, it goes back to things that John and others have said already, really, and it's that chance to develop some clarity and focus around where they ought to be taking the business and that space to strategize. So those weekly conversations with both the peers and with the mentor and with the expert speakers allow them to identify specifically where their attention ought to be focused. And we've got the businesses that have completed the program have all emerged with a growth action plan, and we're at the stage now of supporting them and implementing that through the alumni program and through introducing them really to the wider enterprise ecosystem regionally and indeed nationally. So in terms of early results, it's really very early at this point in the program, but you have got businesses with very clear plans and very clear sense of what they need to implement, looking for the next step beyond the program to be able to do that. So I'm very optimistic. Those businesses, many of them talk about quite considerable revolutionary changes that they've undergone, and perhaps they've paused processes of change that they'd already begun prior to joining the program, because they've now stepped back and thought about them more consistently and thought about them with greater focus. So
well, that's great. And as an advisory council member, I know that there's a very rigorous evaluation program that will explore just exactly what the output is. And of course, I'd like to just remind all of those that on the program that you can get free CMI membership during the program and afterwards to make sure you continue to have access to resources to help you. So before we wrap up, I just wanted to and turn to questions. And please, if you have questions, put them in the chat. I just wanted to ask first, John, what would attract more participants in your view to this great opportunity before I ask Minister Scully to share his top takeaways?
And I guess the first thing would be there's nothing like a testimonial to sell a program. So now that we've got cohorts that are finished, obviously we'll be meeting Andy Russell in the next session. You know, having the mechanism and it's working well, capturing testimonials and sharing them on a local basis is vital. I think I've already mentioned this leveraging local networks. This is a localized delivery of something that's been beautifully organized, Ashley. So I think that's it. Just one thing I wanted to add on the after the 12 weeks piece, and Dan touched on it. This is not a program you finish and that's you're not dealing with your delivery university anymore. We talk about you're on any program, you're a Strathclyder now. You get access to talent through career service, student placements. Every university does it. Every business school does that. That's a resource that's ongoing and it is absolutely mutually beneficial. It's enlightened self-interest in all of us. So I would urge participants and those that are coming on the program not to break links as soon as the 12 weeks are over.
Great. And we will be hearing from program participants, as John said later on, and no doubt you'll hear their testimonials. But Minister Scully, your 3 key takeaways for the small and medium-sized businesses listening as to why they should do Help to Grow, what they can get out of it. What would your top 3 takeaways be?
And first of all, because I've got to go and vote in a minute, so I might not be here at the end. So that's part of the flexibility. Just like small business owners on the call, you're always dashing from one thing to another. And I suppose I can't take the business bit out of me either in that regard. But look, it's not a startup program. It's a growth program. So you're going to be in the middle of running your business. It's just an opportunity to actually take stock with like-minded people going through similar experiences to you. That's the peer-to-peer network, which is fantastic that your offer and of having that free CMI membership to continue that and develop and expand that peer relationship. It's having people like John and Dan that have gone through this process with so many people over so many decades, and they've been there, they've seen it in so many different sectors, so they can help guide you and personalize the approach for them. But it's just the opportunity, as I say, you said something at the beginning, by the way, that's delivered by government experts. It's in no way delivered by government experts. This is business leaders that are actually driving this. I, as a poacher turned gamekeeper, I'll always say businesses know how to drive business, how to drive customer, how to drive footfall, how to drive growth. I'm just sitting here rolling the pitch for you as a politician, as a member of government. So that's the third thing. It's business people, business leaders sharing their ideas, sharing their thoughts, and discussing to give you the boosters, as I say, to have that next stage of growth.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sorry about that. I should have said you recruited experts, and obviously I misspoke. But thank you so much for that. Thank you for joining us. And I know you have to go vote, but we've got some questions coming in. Yeah. So the first one's for you, Minister Scully, if you can hang on there. Are there any plans to extend the program to micro businesses or employees below director owner level?
Well, the plan has been designed to, as I say, come up with that next stage of growth. But where the productivity gains are at their utmost. So that's why it's been designed at this. But we will continue the way it has. But we'll continue to look, because there's a good arguments about how we might expand it. But I think we need to just bed it in first. Help me make it a success. Come and sign on. Come and experience it yourself. And then I can go back to the Chancellor and say, you know what, this is going great guns. Let's expand it to give more businesses even more opportunities.
Great answer. So help each other. So everybody here sign up, and then we'll be able to cascade it further to those other businesses. In terms of the next question, John and Dan, is the alumni for the individual business school, or are you trying to build a wider help to grow community?
A bit of both, really. There's an individual offer at each business school, which will look broadly similar, I would suspect, and will be based upon our existing structures and resources. But there's also a national alumni program, and there is also plans in the development at the moment to do regional events to draw together several business schools from the same region. So I think we've not quite yet got to the stage of those regional events happening, but we've got those local offers in place, and the national program is unfolding as we speak.
Great, John. Anything to add?
I would echo again what Dan said. This will be a mix. Experience over the last 7 years of doing cohort-based programs is that there is a common experience of having gone through a program, whether it's a 10-month growth advantage or a 12-week help to grow, but the relationships in each cohort are unique. So the personal mistake I made a few years ago was trying to think, well, just because you've been on the growth advantage program means you'll all get together. There's a natural connection, but actually my role is to do something for individual cohorts locally, then absolutely join up across an ecosystem in Scotland of help to grow. Peer learning and peer support is vital, but also the ability to tap into UK-wide thing, a conference. Well, that's embryonic in terms of really pushing this movement. This is a movement to help businesses to grow. So it's going to be a very, very local, cohort-based, regional and UK level.
Sounds like you can get the best of both worlds, right? Local cohorts, local ecosystems, and a national joined up movement. Sounds like a great thing. Kate, what advice would you give to businesses with no experience of professional development who might be intimidated by taking up this opportunity?
Well, I think this is directly designed to help those people who have not gone through that formal process or don't have that formal process. I mean, that these are the kind of areas that you can explore within the program. If your challenge is that you don't have a professional development system in your workplace and you think that might be the challenge you need that's holding you back, these are what you can explore. And I think, these are inherently safe spaces for people to share those what appear to be silly questions. There's no such thing as silly questions or things that people should feel intimidated about exploring. This is a safe space to be able to explore for your personal development and for the development of your business. So it's as easy to get into as you want it to be, and don't be put off. My other point would be, don't be put off if you haven't got a formal education background and you haven't gone to university and you haven't got degrees or those traditional routes through. Don't be put off by the fact that it's a business school. This is a cohort of people in exactly the same experience and situation as you, who are looking to help solve problems. And if you think about it that way, then you can dip your toe in the water quite easily.
Yeah, that's a great answer and a really important point. One last question for Minister Scully and Kate. And are there any help to grow stories that have particularly resonated with you? Or indeed any of the panelists?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I'm not sure if I've got a single story. I was at Kingston University and meeting some of the cohort that had gone through the course there. And they were really enjoying, as I say, taking the time to step out. There were companies there, they're quite big companies now that are scaling up, both tech companies. Bailey Water was there. There were some very small craft companies as well that were just starting to ramp up. So it was the connection between the small and medium and what they were learning from each other was really powerful. But in general terms, and I think you'll get this from this kind of program, over the last 2 years, what's absolutely struck me is how businesses have pivoted. Furlough was the business word of last year. Pivot is the business word of this year. And so this is the first time that we've had a business support scheme of this scale. So I really hope that you'll actually be able to get your creative juices working, learn from other people to be able to pivot.
Great. Yeah, it's a hugely ambitious program, 30,000 spots. So really sign up. Anybody else want to share any stories before I thank you all and we come to hear from some actual participants? No? Well, in that case, thank you everybody for your contributions today. You've been super inspiring. I'm sure businesses listening have had their appetites whetted. So once again, if I could thank Kate Nichols, CEO of UK Hospitality, Dr. Dan Knox, Program Director, Help to Grow, University West of England, Dr. John Anderson, Program Director for Strathclyde Business Schools, Help to Grow, and Minister Paul Scully, MP, who is the Minister for Small Business. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us and for answering all your questions. Do stay with us, because now we're going to switch to our second panel, and that is comprised of participants on the program. So you'll be able to hear from those who are actually walking the walk or talking the talk of Help to Grow. So please welcome Andy Russell, who is the Managing Director of Bureau, and he's a Strathclyde course participant. Aileen Boyle, CEO and founder of Fortro Limited, who is a Strathclyde course mentor. Robert Ogden, founder and CEO of Renewable Exchange, who's a UWE course participant. And Paul Parashar, Director of Parashar Associates, who is a UWE course mentor. Welcome to all of you this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
So, questions. Andy, if I could maybe start with you. We were hearing from John earlier that you have an amazing business. Tell us briefly what it is, and then tell us, how did you get involved in the Help to Grow scheme, and what prompted you to take advantage of the opportunity?
Well, Bureau's about a 5-year-old business, just older than 5. We are a commercial FF&E consultancy. We've got offices in Edinburgh, Glasgow, and London, and we specialize in carrying out projects across the office, hospitality, education sectors, working with architects, designers to deliver schemes, high volume furniture schemes, typically into different environments. Business as it stands differentiates itself through our ethical approach to sourcing of new products and our circular approach to assisting our clients in exiting old buildings. I was introduced to Help to Grow by our accountants who were new to the business at the time, and they thought that there was a lot of, we were coming through a bumpy stage, as a lot of companies were at the start of the pandemic, and they thought there was a lot of value in the modules that Help to Grow were advertising at the time, and that it would really align with what we were trying to do. So at that time, I was trying to really kind of redefine the business, realign the business in its values and its mission, and understand how to communicate it more effectively into the business to help the business achieve its pretty large growth plans during the pandemic and coming out of the pandemic. So I looked at the Help to Grow modules. I thought really they mirrored perfectly where we were at the time. And I contacted John, who thankfully allowed me to come onto cohort 1. And yeah, having completed the course now, really couldn't recommend it highly enough. It was absolutely brilliant.
Well, that's great. And we'll come back to that, and you can maybe share some of the things that you've specifically done. But I also want to go to you, Robert. What was been the most useful aspect of the program for you, and how did you find your way on it?
Sure, thanks, Anne. And for the audience's benefit, Renewable Exchange is an online marketplace for renewable energy. So through our marketplace, we enable wind farm and solar farm owners to achieve the best price for the renewable electricity that they generate. So hopefully that gives a bit of context into how different we are as a business as well, in terms of the breadth. In terms of what's been the most useful aspect of the course, it feels a little bit unfair to pick one. So there's a couple I'd like to specifically highlight. So firstly, the kind of peer network of fellow business leaders. So it was really helpful to go through a program like this while discussing kind of similar problems and challenges with a group of other business leaders who are in similar situations. And it was great to understand kind of what others have done in the past, what's worked well, what hasn't. And we all stay in touch now. We've got a LinkedIn group set up where we can all continue to connect and share and talk about how things are going, together. The second element was like every third week we would all come together at the university and have a half day like face-to-face immersive lecture, and this really helped to pull all the content together and discuss with that peer network and just contextualize the course materials from the past 2 weeks. And then finally, I'd really like to mention the mentoring, and you'll hear from Paul shortly, who mentored me through the program. So Paul really helped me to quickly get comfortable with the fact that not 100% of the course content was going to be completely relevant to renewable exchange and to myself. So what was really great about the mentoring was being able to kind of dig into those areas which were particularly relevant, brainstorm them and get real tangible value out of those areas. I think this mentoring element really brought the course to life for me and helped to bring real clarity to Renewable Exchange's growth plan as a result of that.
Well, that is great, and how fortunate we happen to have two mentors with us today on the panel. And we'll get to Paul in just a moment, but first, Aileen Boyle, you're a mentor on the program. What kind of opportunities and challenges have you seen, and how have you tried to help?
Thanks very much for having us here. I just wanted to first let you know how I got involved in this. I was doing a course on non-exec development through the University of Edinburgh Business School, and I actually met John Anderson there, and we ended up in a breakout room together. So I've noticed that some of the comments have been about how do mentors get involved, and it's amazing where the opportunities come from. And as far as being a mentor on this, one of the reasons that prompted me to be involved is that as business leaders, I think we have a real responsibility to pay forward the experiences, the positive experiences that we've had. People have helped us along the way. And as Andy mentioned it, people are really keen to sort of post-pandemic kickstart growth. And I think it's important for other business leaders to see what I would call, they call them role models, but just last week I heard somebody call them real models, and I kind of quite like that. They're real people who have, learned to understand the battle of the firefighting versus the strategic, and the feeling of exhaustion along with the simultaneous elation of running a business. So, I think it's important for people to see that. And as a mentor, being able to show that to other individuals is actually a real privilege. And I think that it helps the mentees feel, it's not just me. The other side of that, another point of that, is that I'm an actually kind of wired for change kind of person, and not everybody is. So to be able to share how I deal with change, particularly when you're looking at a growth program, a scaling program such as this, where it doesn't automatically come naturally, is important. And actually, it's a real privilege for me, because as time goes on, I get to see the confidence and the wisdom of the mentees growing, which, as I say, is quite a privilege. And the other thing I got an opportunity to do was talk to, it wasn't just necessarily the founder, there were some senior directors there as well, people who I call them people of influence, but they maybe didn't quite realize how much influence they had at that level. So again, to see that, and as a mentor, it's to be able to positively impact somebody's work experience, their life is great, and it's kind of partly why mentors do it. and somebody said, what were your challenges? But I have to say that I had the wonderful Karen Finnegan supporting myself and my fellow mentors. And so any challenges must have been Karen's, because I didn't have any, when you first meet a potential mentee, it's, are you going to get on? Do you have the right skill set? But the filtering was done, so the matching was made. And I have to say, I haven't had a bad experience with my mentees so far. So, it's all been good.
So that's great. Sounds
Yeah.
incredibly rewarding. Well, Paul, Robert already gave you a ringing endorsement about how you've helped him. So how have you helped him, and what opportunities and challenges have you seen as a mentor?
Yeah, well, I've taught him to do my PR, which is obviously a pretty positive outcome. I guess for me, the opportunities have been very much around visibility to sectors that I wouldn't have necessarily got visibility to. So, I was lucky to obviously work with somebody in the renewable energy sector, and just because it's such a topic of conversation, it's been great learning for me to understand an industry, as well as understand the things that are required within an industry to obviously initiate growth. I think the other thing is that you're being exposed to people who are volunteering because they want to grow their business. And that's, it's a pretty exciting thing to be around. Sometimes we get cynical during periods in our career, and a lot of the SMEs, I think, readjust that by, really looking to see how they can move to the next level. I think the other thing is the program, and the way that it's designed, allows the mentor and the business leader to very much identify the levers that can lead to sustainable growth for them. And I've really enjoyed that process. And as Robert sort of illustrated a little bit, which is not everything's relevant to everybody, but there will be certain areas that will be really relevant for that organization to focus on, whether it be international expansion or digital, or brand values, or whatever it is. So lots of opportunities for me as a mentor, and therefore I endorse what Aileen's saying, which is it's a great thing to be involved in. I think the challenges for me have probably been around always trying to get the fine line between being a coach, being a consultant, and being a mentor, and they are three different things. A mentor is very much about initiating decision making from the business leader that you're working with. So that's been I guess a challenge for me personally, just to make sure that I'm walking the right line as far as that's concerned. I think the other challenge has just really been around the growing use of virtual. Obviously during this period, we've had to do a lot of virtual meetings. Rob and I managed to do quite a lot of face-to-face, and because you're building rapport, and people want to, believe that you have got not only best interest but best insight. I think face-to-face meetings are obviously very powerful, and just managing that process has been a little bit of a challenge for me.
Yeah, I completely get that, especially when the technology doesn't quite stay the course, as inevitably will happen. But back to you, Andy. You intimated you finished the program a while back. Share with us, what lessons did you take back to your business that have improved the way you do things? If you can, share what were they and what's been their impact?
Or the Teams call every single time, buzzing with energy, loads of ideas, and with a to-do list much longer than it was at the start of the meeting. But if I was to pick out one of the key subjects or modules that really struck, it was actually in module 1. It was the strategy and innovation module around elements of value. And, perhaps one of the most simplistic tools to use, but one that I would never have discovered, I don't think, without Help to Grow. And it was a hierarchy of needs. We had seen a massive issue with margin erosion across our sector during the pandemic, with businesses really just trying to win business on price. And we knew that to grow and to be able to invest in our business, we needed to add value to our customers and increase that margin to be able to reinvest in improving our services to the customers. So in the hierarchy, we use the hierarchy of needs within the business to really look at where we are now from the bottom up, literally on the pyramid, to remap the business and to look at how we can drive more value to our customers further up the pyramids. Understanding from our learnings that the further up the pyramid you are, the higher you can charge for your services effectively. And we realigned our marketing campaigns to speak to the customer on a much more of a value-based level rather than a services level, which was hugely impactful. And we've realigned all our sales and pitch documentation to focus much higher up that kind of perceived value chain to the customers. Impact has been increased margin. We're winning business, and the feedback that we're getting is that we're not always the cheapest, which is great to hear. And it really, genuinely came from that very simple diagram, then expertly taught to us by the facilitators and followed up by the mentors. John and Wendy, who ran our cohorts, were just brilliant at taking the information and driving it into a group that was of all different levels of education. I didn't go to university myself, for example, but got straight into business. So it was my first kind of experience outside school, which was over 20 years ago, of learning again. So just brilliant and very very easy to pick up and move through with. And the peer group that Robert mentioned, that's been brilliant. A group of friends formed off the back of it. Really, we have a WhatsApp group that we share business funding that's out there at the moment, or courses on things. It's not just Help to Grow stuff. We're really trying to help each other to move our businesses forward. So, but that for me, out of all the modules that we went through, was what has had one of the biggest impacts to the business on a day-to-day basis.
Well, it sounds like that's a pretty amazing impact. So you've actually reset your strategy to focus on the higher order values, and it's winning you more business at a higher margin, which sounds like an amazing impact, and something that was hugely useful for you. Robert, what about the value you've gotten, and what would you say to others on the call who may be considering joining Help to Grow?
Sure. I mean, I'd say to others that the program, it gives you a very broad coverage of a lot of relevant business topics. I mean, ultimately, you're going to get out what you put into the program, and you must be able to commit a fairly significant amount of time every week to see the benefits. For me personally, I think the mentoring sessions were a great way to take the entire course material, distill down what I found to be most relevant to renewable exchange, and then turn these into kind of actionable changes. So some of these changes can be fairly significant. For example, we've now opened an office in Germany, which is our first international market. But actually quite a lot of the changes that you might look to make are fairly small and quick improvements. Just those marginal gains that improves the way the business functions, considers problems, maybe communicates internally. And I found these to be really helpful for renewable exchange. So ultimately, I think what I'd say is, if you're looking for ways to grow your business, and if you go in with the right open-minded attitude and can commit the necessary time to kind of learning and then taking action off the back of it, then you've got a really great chance of getting some success out of your investment into the program. So we'll definitely recommend it.
Yeah, and I love that. Two contrasting stories. For Andy, the one overarching idea that he then faithfully took back and translated into his business. For you, Robert, it sounds like there wasn't just one thing. There were many, perhaps, smaller things, but you were able to take those and use them each to drive incremental change, improvement, and across a wide range of outcomes in your business. So two great endorsements, each quite different, which is wonderful, because it is about taking out what's right for your business from the program. But Aileen, you're a business leader yourself, as you've shared. Would you have considered taking the Help to Grow management course yourself? And if so, why?
I would have actually. I think to draw on some of the comments previously in the whole session, it would really have helped me see where my strengths lay and what I needed to build on. As the chief exec or the business leader, we wear many hats, and we have to kind of keep all the plates spinning. But to be given some good, solid, pragmatic models that you can implement, to be able to understand other people's roles within a business and perhaps understand where you can delegate that out would be really positive. And I also like that it provided the framework in order to do that. And I quite like a framework. As much as I'm wired for change, I do like to have a framework in which to change. I also really like the fact that you have a person, a mentor, that you can then take that and say, so this is what I was thinking, this is where I am with my business. I took all of that learning, and I guess it goes to Robert's point, that this is what's impacting me. And I would really like to sort of dig deeper on that particular topic. So yeah, I think, and the other thing is, I would be really tempted to bring my second in command along if I have one, because I think that gives a real rounded approach to the leadership team in a business. And it means that, once again, it doesn't just fall to the business leader, to the chief exec, or to the one person that's gone, and it just sort of spreads the load. But as a course, I think, and it's great that it's actually for these revenue earning businesses, because sometimes things can be skewed towards the new and the smaller company and the startup, etc. So I like the fact that it's for businesses that are up and running, that are actually looking to make maybe a step change.
Yeah, those are a whole host of excellent reasons for those listening to sign up. Like Aileen said, she wished she would have, and actually now she gets to participate as a mentor. So Paul, what have been your top 3 takeaways as a mentor from this course?
Yeah, so I've got a background in media and digital, so I guess my takeouts are going to be set against those things that have been sort of most of interest to me. I think in terms of brand values, brand values, I think, are growingly important, obviously, not just for your customers, but also your staff. And one of the big takeouts that I took was that, the group of people that I am working with or have worked with on this program have put sustainability and diversity and the importance of those brand values very much at the center of their business. And that's what I feel makes it a sustainable business. I think following on from that and attached to that a little bit is recruitment seems to have been a big issue. Now, that might be that we're in the Southwest, and so it might be just as skill shortages, but there is a challenge around bringing the right people with the right energy into smaller organizations that are growing, because they make a significant difference to kind of the next stage of development. And then the final takeout, which really picks up on the conversations about alumni, I feel that Robert's example of international expansion was quite exhausting for the business and him personally, probably, because I think it's a difficult thing to do, to go out and open in a new market. You know, that might be more difficult 18 months after, obviously, you know, the changes in the UK's position with regard to Europe. But certainly I sort of feel that that's where alumni can be really important in terms of just creating that best practice way of certain areas, whether it's recruitment or international expansion, just will be, you know, hugely important for anybody following up on the program, you know, in the future.
Absolutely. And you touch on a good point. I mean, many successful small businesses there is a correlation between growth and exporting. And I did reference, Robert mentioned he had many small changes, but that's a big one. Expanding into a new market, obviously, was also a big undertaking that you took as a result of your participation. And it sounds like, though tiring, it's been going well for you. So that's great. Well, we now have time for some questions. I hope you've been busy putting those questions into the chat. If you haven't yet put your question in the chat, you can do so now. So first question for Andy and Robert. Is there anything you would change about the course to improve it? So Andy and Robert, any thoughts come to mind? Who would like to go first?
I'll dive in. If to spread it over a longer period of time, I think would be some feedback. I think that a few people on the course gave. I think when it first arrived and people had more time in their hands with, you know, being deep in the thick of lockdowns, etc. It was easier to invest time into learning. I think, you know, when we came out into the new year and really things have started, well, certainly in our industry, have started to accelerate. You know, it as Robert said, it's a fairly significant investment of time. I think it would be easier if it was more spread out to also go back into the business and drill into the business what you've learned. Sometimes felt it was a bit close together.
Okay, great. So maybe spread it out over a little longer, but of course you have your alumni offer, you're staying in touch. So you're continuing that learning after the course, I would hope. But Robert, what about you? What would, anything you would change?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it was just a function of the times with a lot of the course being virtual. The face-to-face sessions I found really hugely valuable. So the more that could be kind of done in that setting where it's much easier to network, especially at the start of the program, much easier to kind of build a strong relationships across all of the kind of peer group. I think that kicked in kind of week 3 for us, and it was really great to all of a sudden meet all of these people that you'd been on these Microsoft Teams calls with. So, you know, it was a bit of a function of the times when we did the program, but, you know, the more that can be you bring people together and create that network, I think that's really powerful part of the program, and, you know, massively advocate for that going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we are going to be building up that alumni program, and obviously CMI will be involved in that, again, with free resources, but I'm sure we have some more questions. So this is for all our panelists. Have you told your network and other local businesses about the course? And if so, what's been their reaction? Who'd like to take that one first? Okay, Paul.
So the reason I'm putting my hand up, which I normally wouldn't do, is I had a conversation last night with somebody who is, he's got a large venue in London, and he's opening up a number of bars across the UK. And I was telling him about this program, and, you know, he was really interested in it. And then he said, "Do you think I'm too old?" Because he's sort of, you know, late 50s and probably thought everybody was going to be sort of, you know, the age of, you know, a younger age. And I sort of, I mean, after laughing, obviously, I think I made the point, which is that and I think he came to the conclusion it's a brilliant opportunity for you to invest in yourself after probably 20 years of not investing in yourself. So you do the university bit, you do maybe the early stuff where you're more involved in, organizations like yours, Anne. But then you just get embroiled in the day-to-day aspect of running a business. And I think he sees it as a real opportunity to kind of, just get some new learning, understand how, the world of communications and brand building and consumer relationships is changing dramatically, and how that will impact on his business.
That's great. Yeah, you're never too old to learn, are you? I mean, I think that's as simple as that. Anybody else want to share their network's reaction? Maybe Robert?
Yeah, I think like what Paul just said, since launching Renewable Exchange, I've not done any kind of structured learning at all. So I think like that side of it, you don't really take the time out and think about investing back in yourself, which is something that, until running my own business, I'd done regularly through either formal education routes or through, the employers that I previously worked for. So, I think it's just a good one to kind of sit up and think, hey, let's, go back and just check in on what's out there and go and build up that kind of network of peers who are in the same position and learn together and just explore different ways to think about problems and some of the kind of similar challenges that others have in the same position that you're in.
Absolutely. And Aileen, what's been the reaction of your network when you've shared Help to Grow with them?
It's been a positive one. It's been for some of the reasons that I said that I would join. It's been well received, and people were wondering how to get involved. And Paul, just to say, of the mentees I've had, they haven't all been 21. Put it that way. So tell your friend that they should just go for it. And actually, sometimes. The mentees are maybe 22, 23, because they are actually, as you say, investing in themselves. They've had a business for a while, and they see the positivity of this. So, well received, and well received.
Brilliant. And Andy, anything to add?
Sorry, I think I was muted there. Very positive. Everybody, everybody's been bothering John to try and get onto one of the cohorts, and I think I had an amazing experience with it. So I speak, very positively about it when I do speak to my own peer group around it, and I think everyone can benefit from it. I don't think anybody would come out of Help to Grow thinking anything but positive thoughts. Absolutely brilliant.
That's great. So ringing endorsements. I think we might have time, if there is, for one last question. Yes. All right, here we go. We're turning you into marketeers. What would be your one-line pitch to someone still skeptical about taking up the program? Your one-liner to convince that person. Who's going to go first?
I'll go.
Okay.
Basically, it's the classic. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get the same result. So go and do something different. Change your thinking.
Excellent. Great contribution from Aileen. Who's next up?
Sure. I can jump in. So I think, look, I already said it, but if you are looking for ways to grow your business and you go into this with the right open-minded attitude and commit the time to go through the program properly and put in the effort, then you're going to get out what you put in. It's a great program, and you've got a great chance of getting some real success out of it.
Super. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Robert. Paul, Andy, your pitch?
What does your business look like if you don't do it? because I think the yeah, you won't regret it.
Brilliant. Yeah, all those businesses struggling. Great point, Andy. And Paul, bring it home.
I'll bring it home. I think for me, I'd probably have to have the data to back this up, but I'd sort of say, do you want to make £1 million out of a £750 investment?
Wow, there you go. So great ROI. Well, listen, thank you all. Thank you for your incredibly sincere endorsements and your experiences of sharing what it's meant to you on Help to Grow. It's great to hear these stories and your commitment to the program and how much you've gained from it. Actually, that is a ringing endorsement. And we heard earlier from indeed the minister and Kate Nichols of UK Hospitality, Minister Scully, as well as two of the deans and responsible for the Help to Grow program at UWE and Strathclyde, just to how committed they are to the program and all the good work it's doing. So if I could just sum up, I think Minister Scully was going to join us for the summing up, but I'm going to take it that he meant what he said. Business was calling and he had to go vote. So I don't think he's popping back in with us. My team will tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. No. So summing up then, first of all, thank you for everybody who participated as a panelist. Huge thanks for sharing your words. Thank you for everybody who joined us. Now, please don't let this be the end of your engagement with Help to Grow. Let this be the beginning of your engagement. You will find that there are links in the chat and links going across your screen now. Click those links in the chat to find out more. Go to www.gov.co.uk Help to Grow or click on the link. Do sign up. Don't be inhibited. You've heard loads of good reasons to do that, and do tell your networks about it. My top 3 learnings from so many learnings, but listening to you all, what I would say is, first, this is for every business, everybody, and it doesn't matter how old you are, what sector you're in, whether you're a beautician or an engineering firm. It's about coming together, solving your like-minded problems, investing in yourself, and building a community that doesn't just exist in your immediate area. As we've heard, many of you are making huge connections in your immediate area and with your immediate cohorts, but you're part of a movement, part of a larger community. As more and more businesses do this, you're going to be able to tap into all of those resources and knowledge. What a great idea. And don't forget, we give free CMI membership to everybody on the program and for 6 months after to help establish that community as well and create lots of resources. So that's the first thing for everybody, every business. Secondly, and I love this expression, it was Aileen, this is about real models, not role models. So you'll be able to relate to the people on this program. Don't be inhibited if you haven't studied at a business school or been to university or done learning since school. It's not academic, it's practical. It's about real advice for real businesses. And, a problem shared is a problem halved. Sharing your real problems with others and learning from them. And everybody has cited that peer-to-peer network as well as the mentoring as really helping underscore just how real rather than role this is. And I think it's a great point. So please bear that in mind. It is about practical. And thirdly, actually, you've all said, this helps you grab change with both hands. It helps you to build your confidence. It helps you to make major interventions that work. As we heard from Andy, he's completely redone his strategy. He's built his margin. He's built his business. He's winning more work than he ever did before. And indeed, it gave Robert the confidence to take that leap and expand internationally. But also, it helps you grab onto those smaller changes, the little things that you can do every day to really make a big dent in your business. And what was that stat from Paul? Turned 750 quid into $1 million. So a great ROI. And lastly, I would say it's also about paying it forward. You all mentioned that. This is about building the community of UK successful small and medium-sized businesses. It's about building the UK back, investing in our communities, creating all those new places and new opportunities, not just for you, but for the next generation and for the people in the UK and in your local communities. So you're adding hugely by having a successful business. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining us. We have recorded the program, so we will be sharing it with anybody who missed it. And please do click on the resources in the chat. And thanks again to my brilliant panelists and to everybody joining us this afternoon. Take care.
Thank you.